This is Brennan Wells, the owner of Pro Weld Fabricators. We are a Richmond-based company. We are here for all of your welding projects.
Bradley Hicks here with Pro Weld Fabricators. We bring all the right tools to your doorstep. Emergency repair? No problem. We're available 24/7. For all commercial and residential needs, you need Pro Weld Fabricators. Learn more about Pro Weld Fabricators and check out some of our awesome projects at pro-weldfabricators.com.
Pro Weld Fabricators is your number one source for any of your commercial welding needs.
Dude, I think the time has finally come.
You gave it a good life, man.
Yeah, but it's been so long since I've been in the market.
It's just your garage refrigerator. Don't worry, I got a guy.
They can give me a good deal?
Still putting off replacing your old appliances? I'm Rob Nicholson, the appliance guy. At East Coast Appliance, we're Virginia's largest independent appliance dealer of top brand names. Plus, we have a huge selection of brand new scratch and dent appliances at discounted prices. Visit East Coast Appliance today. The best price, or it's free. Hi, Rob Nicholson here from East Coast Appliance. A lot of people ask, what is the deal with scratch and dent appliances? And it's really pretty simple. They keep your food just as cold, wash your clothes just as good, and they're all backed by the original manufacturer warranty. It's true a scratch and dent appliance might not win a beauty pageant, but many of them only have a small ding or two. But the price tags have big savings of up to a few $100s. Save huge on scratch and dent appliances right now at East Coast Appliance, where you always get the best price, or it's free.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-935-2277. 800-935-2277.
If you're feeling tired, unmotivated, or struggling to build muscle, I've been there. But 2026 is my year, and it's all thanks to Game Day Men's Health right here in Richmond. Since starting treatment at Game Day, I'm hitting my goals. I'm down about 20 pounds in 2 months, and I'm honestly in the best shape I've been in years. They focus on the things that matter: testosterone optimization, weight loss, ED treatments, and peptide therapy. And with nearly 500 5-star reviews, they are Richmond's highest rated provider for a reason. Schedule a complimentary visit right now at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN. Richmond, it's time to get your morning going. Slice them up.
We are going to wreak havoc.
The only thing I am thinking about is the game.
Holy catfish! Touchdown, Seahawks! Rashid Shaheed!
Richmond Sports Talk by Richmond sports fans. This is Fitz the Bill with Jack Fitzpatrick. All live from the capital of the Commonwealth, where sharp analysis, your cause, and Richmond always come first. If it's making headlines locally or nationally, we're breaking it down. Now, live from the capital of the Commonwealth, Fitz the Bill with your host, Jack Fitzpatrick.
82 points. Mama, we feel your joy. The second highest scoring game in NBA history, second only to Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game in Hershey, Pennsylvania against the New York Knicks when he was playing for Philadelphia. Eighty-three point.
NBA big men last night had themselves a performance. Welcome into Fitz the Bill here on this Wednesday morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, riding solo as we break down everything that happened in the wide world of sports overnight. And yesterday, I'll be honest, last 36 hours, I've been a little sick, a little under the weather. And every time a big headline came through my phone, whether it was the Max Crosby situation or it was Bam Adebayo having 83 points, each and every time I thought I was kind of, the sickness hallucinating or something like that. I could not believe it. Last night, Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat scored 83 points, the second most points in NBA history. What an absolute performance last night. This is what he had to say yesterday following the electric performance.
To have this moment and share it with all of them, it's a pretty emotional moment. Like I said, I wish I could relive it twice. So this is a special moment. It's Wilt, me, then Kobe, which sounds crazy.
It does sound crazy. Wilt, Bam Adebayo, and Kobe. Wilt, Bam, and Kobe. He surpassed Kobe's 81 because he scored 43 first-half points. He then passed LeBron's franchise record of 62 points in the third quarter. Adebayo finished the game 20 of 43 from the field, 36 of 43 from the foul line, 7 of 22 from three-point range. It was a stat line that we have never seen before, and we likely will never see before. And, oh, by the way, to add a little cherry on top of this Bam Adebayo performance, Miami is the first team to have two players combine to surpass Wilt Chamberlain's by himself single game record of 100. That 100-point performance by Wilt Chamberlain was actually 117 points, the most combined between Wilt and Al Attles back on March 2nd of 62. Adebayo combined with Simone Fontecchio to have 101 points. So it's the first time two players have combined for over 100 points since Wilt's 100 by himself back in 62. Just an absolutely crazy, crazy performance. And there was some criticism, of course, about how Bam got to that number. There's always going to be criticism in today's day and age. I do not give a flying you-know-what about that. He was on the doorstep, and you know what? Shout out to Eric Spoelstra for making sure that the team did everything possible to make it where he was going to score a record number of points. I don't care how he did it. I don't care if Miami started intentionally fouling to get more opportunities for Bam. I don't care if Spoelstra could have taken him out and kept him in. You talk to coaches around the world of sports when you have a historic moment like that, whether it's a pitcher getting close to a no-hitter, a perfect game, what have you, whether it's a player approaching a career high, a franchise high, a program high, whatever it might be. You talk to a coach after the game if they knew that that was on the table. And a lot of times they don't even realize that it was on the table, and they kind of regret the fact that they may have pulled the player so close to etching their name in the history books. So shout out to Spoelstra last night for knowing where Bam was scoring-wise and then doing everything he could and everything the Miami Heat could do to get him to that number. And not to be outdone last night. You have 83 points. Like I said, I was a little sick yesterday. That's why we missed the show yesterday morning. I was in a sickness haze. I wasn't sure if that was true or not until I woke up out of the sickness haze today to actually confirm he had 83 points, joining Wilt, Bam, and Kobe. Just a crazy trio of names. But not to be outdone was Victor Wembanyama's amazing performance yesterday, as Wemby, he would be the lead story today if it wasn't for Bam Adebayo. Wemby erupted for 39 points. He went 8 of 15 from three-point land. Wemby matched a career high last night with 8 three-pointers, scoring 39 points. Oh, by the way, the San Antonio Spurs' fantastic big man had 11 rebounds as well, and they beat the Boston Celtics 125-116. And I do want to call back real quick to Dan from Midlothian when he called in, Monday morning, asking, is it possible Wemby goes down as one of the greatest centers of all time? And Allen had that not necessarily the pushback, was like, I'd argue he's more of a 4 than he is a 5, but he's just a 7'5" alien that they play at the 5. I think that performance last night was a perfect example of why I said, no, he's not going to go down as the greatest center of all time. If Wemby stays healthy, Victor Wembanyama is going to go down as the greatest basketball player of all time. And I know he's playing for the Spurs where he has to get out of the shadow of Tim Duncan. I understand all of that. He's got to break records that we always thought never could be broken. And then what did LeBron do with his longevity? He broke those records. Wemby's going to have to do something similar like that. But Wemby plays the game in a way we have never seen before. And because of that, I think there is a good probability that Victor Wembanyama will go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest player of all time. All right, let's go out to the phone lines real quick on this Wednesday morning. We've got Bruce on line one. Good morning, Bruce. I imagine you were loving the NBA action last night.
Hey, good morning, Fitz. Hey, man, that stomach bug is not to be played with, bro. It's just not.
Hey, 36 hours in bed. I won't go into the gory details of it all, Bruce, but 36 hours essentially just in bed. And then I woke up today and I was like, oh, wow, it's all gone.
Hey, man, it's the real deal. If you've not had it, don't want it. That's my take on it. Don't want it. Hey, look, man, Fitz, I mean, sometimes you call your show and you've already set the table, man. All I got to do is sit and eat. That's really all I got to do. Because the fact that you just dropped regarding the two players, not only Bam, who put up the big 8-2, but his cohort. Now, if you watch this game, guys, the Wizards had the game on. So you could have easily turned to 846 on your Xfinity dial and got the game. So if you watched it, it was like in the third quarter when the 6-2 hit, it was like, give Bam the ball. I mean, that was typically what the Heat went to. And I had no issue with it. Give Bam the ball. I turned from Spurs versus Celtics to Wizards versus Heat because it was that type of drama. The whole Kisera arena was into getting. You see Pat Riley and Alonzo Mourning cheering. You see the coach at the timeouts telling his squad, and the teammates were like, "Where is Bam?" So that's what we are supposed to do. We're not supposed to say, "Oh man, you were on the cuffs of doing something historical." We're supposed to bring history. And that's what the Heat did last night, man. I will tell you, I was there December the 29th of last year, and I am just so happy to see these Wizards, man. I mean, these Heat do what they did last night. Man, kudos to the NBA.
Wasn't it awesome that they did that? There's some criticism that's being drawn. People say, well, they just forced the ball to Bam. They were doing all of this to get him the record. Yeah, as they should. That's good coaching from Eric Spoelstra. He understood where Bam was. Bam was on the doorstep of history, and Eric Spoelstra and the Miami Heat made sure Bam was going to break history. He was going to set a new mark. That is awesome.
You and I have it in our voice this morning, man. You can hear the excitement. So kudos. I mean, what Wemby did last night is impressive, in my opinion, not from the point standpoint. Let me be clear. Not from the points. I'm not saying Wemby put up 82 points. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is if we get facts right, I believe the Spurs are 80-1 against the best teams record-wise in the league. I may be off a game or two, but I think they're 8-1.
And I believe they're 16-1 over their last 17 games as well, Bruce. They are looking like the best team in the association right now.
Man, it's just kudos to Miami Heat. I hope those of us who are true sports fans appreciate what we heard last night. Wilt Chamberlain, 100 points. The second biggest score game is 82. And Fitz, you are spot on when you give the stat line. Let's be clear, guys. The versatility of this guy out of Kentucky. To have his mom, to have his lady in the audience as well, along with the fans and his teammates, give this guy his prop, man. And y'all were going to trade for Greek Freak for Bam. Man, shut the front door. I'm gone, Fitz.
I love it, Bruce. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Appreciate you calling in. Yeah, that's another great point of it. That was the first game Bam's partner, Asia Wilson, was in attendance for, and he showed out for his girl. Shout out to Bam Adebayo. That is a wonderful, wonderful little exclamation point on the entire performance. We got a text in while Bruce was going, and for Bam to hit over 80 points is fluke. Wizards are tanking. I'm going to push back a little bit on that. I don't think it was fluky. They were fouling Bam every single chance they got to make sure he didn't get to the record. They just didn't expect him to rack up 43 free throws, hit 36 of them, and finish with 83 points. He finished 20 of 43 from the floor, 36 of 43 from the free throw line. Scoring 83 points will never be a fluke, because if the Wizards were a tanking team and that makes it a fluke, we'd see 80-point performances each and every night against the Washington Wizards. No, they were trying. They were trying to make sure Bam wasn't scoring over 80, and there's a reason he's only the third player ever to score over 81 points in an NBA game. A fantastic performance last night from Bam Adebayo. And not to be lost in all of this, there was even more NBA action, NBA drama coming out of everything that happened last night. But before we get to that, we've got Alan joining in about, 45 minutes or so, 9 a.m. Alan's down in Charlotte, North Carolina for the ACC tournaments. He watched the Virginia Tech game last night as the Hokies fell to Wake Forest in overtime firsthand. So Alan will be joining live from Charlotte at around 9 a.m. to talk about the ACC tournament and what he saw last night as Virginia Tech fell. Now the Hokies wait for Selection Sunday. Have they done enough to get into the field? According to most bracketologists, the answer to that is no, as they find themselves on the outside of the bubble looking in. We've also got some special guests stopping by at about 9:15. Rob from Birdie Golf and Adam from Stonehouse Golf Club. We'll be chatting about the Birdie Classic that's coming up in just about a month. So that'll be at 9:15. And at 9:40, Preston Willett, writer for The Sabre and the host of the Who's On podcast. We'll be talking some UVA hoops as the Cavaliers get set for an ACC tournament run, or at least they hope it's an ACC tournament run. So Preston will be joining at about 9:40 to talk about that. And look, we've got another thing we've got to break down.
Oh, another free one. Thanks, dog. You always hook me up.
Another hour of the fun stuff on deck.
Another one of your nonsensical rambling stories.
And another round for everyone on me. I don't want to hear another peep. Okay, all right, here's another one.
And another thing from last night. Jaylen Brown got ejected yesterday in the second quarter in the Celtics loss to the Spurs, right? Nothing too crazy. He gets ejected. It's fine. He gets shoved out of bounds by, I believe it was Stephon Castle. And then Jaylen Brown decides to light up the referee. And that's where things got a little messy. Also, if you're calling in, we'll get to you here in just a second or two. But last night, Jaylen Brown, he gets a tech. It's assessed by the crew chief, Tyler Ford. Then immediately gets a second tech, assessed by an official, Soyash Mehta. But that isn't the crazy part of it all. Jaylen Brown getting ejected, that's fine, whatever. His production would have been massively needed last night in the Celtics 125-116 loss to the San Antonio Spurs. But the crazy part of it all was the aftermath, where Jaylen Brown immediately took to Twitter, essentially the second he got back into the locker room, and he tweeted, "This the blank I be talking about." And then to add on to that, Joe Mazzulla, he took to the podium after the game and said this.
Just give a ton of credit to my high school principal. He had the balls to throw a student out. He didn't leave it to the hall monitor.
What kind of frustrated you about just that entire sequence?
He was a hell of a principal.
All right, Joe Mazzulla. He's in what, mid-season, late season form with it. He said, the principal, he had the cojones to throw out a student. He didn't leave it to the hall monitor, essentially calling the official Soyash Mehta the hall monitor here, and Tyler Ford didn't do enough to just throw him out. Love Joe Mazzulla. Love Joe Mazzulla. Always absolutely hilarious stuff from him. And that's the other thing. Wemby had a great performance in that game, but Joe Mazzulla had an even better performance at the mic last night. All right, we're going to go out to the phone lines on line 2. Good morning. How are we doing? What's your name? Where are you calling in from?
Yeah, this is Dan from Midlothian.
Oh, Dan, how you doing? With the caller ID, it's not that great, so I just got to kind of fly by the seat of my pants. How we doing?
I'm doing fine. Listen, no charge for quoting me from earlier. That's okay.
Hey, the check's in the mail. The check's in the mail.
It's all good. Listen, I wanted to qualify, though, when I said he'd be the greatest, Wembanyama would be the greatest center ever.
Please.
And I had in my mind, yeah, he might be the greatest ever, but we put guys up on pedestals real early in their career when they're great players, and not saying he won't be. If he stays healthy, I think he will be. But, I just wanted to qualify that. I have one other question. You haven't started talking about football yet, but I'd love to hear your comments about the Ravens retracting their offer to Max Crosby.
After it was crazy.
I think that's. I've never seen that before. I mean, they knew he had an operation, and it wasn't, just a cleanup. I've had cleanups on both my knees and recovered quick, but they knew that was happening.
Dan, I got a question for you. Who had the better career, Max Crosby with the Ravens, or was it Dalton Connect with the Hornets, or Mark Williams with the Lakers? Because that's the most recent example. Granted, it's a different league, but most recent example of a trade being nixed in the 11th hour because of a failed physical. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I'm just, what? Somebody else is going to pick him up. And with the facilities and the resources that these pro teams have to get guys rehabilitated, and just look at Jason Tatum, that's not shining example of what these guys have to get them ready. And you don't think a team, if they're going to invest a lot, is not going to get him ready to play and make sure he is?
Yeah.
They will.
Yes.
They will.
So someone will happily get back in line to get into the Max Crosby sweepstakes. I've got some thoughts on that Max Crosby stuff, and I'm going to get to it on the other side of the break. Appreciate you calling in, Dan. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. But yeah, a lot of thoughts. There are a lot of thoughts I've got on the Max Crosby trade being voided. Diana Rossini of The Athletic has been not leaking. I mean, I guess she's been reporting on it. She's an NFL insider. She's got some more details that we're going to share on the other side of this break. Is the Ravens pulled out of the Max Crosby deal, and now it leaves both sides kind of in a spiral. Where do they go from here? It looked like Baltimore had found a star edge rusher in the prime of their career, something they have not had since the Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs days. I mean, the Ravens have been just picking off old veterans off the trash heap the last couple of years, whether it's been Kyle Van Noy, Jadeveon Clowney, guys like that. It looked like they finally were going all in to get a edge rusher in their prime. And then the 11th hour, they pull out of the trade. We'll break that down, what it may mean for both sides, and as well as the Commanders free agency. That's coming up more on Fitz the Bill on this Wednesday morning, 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
Get the latest update on Henrico County sports tournaments, happenings, and future events on ESPN Richmond's newest segment, the Henrico Huddle. Join Henrico Sports and Entertainment Authority Executive Director Dennis Bickmeyer as he joins Bob Black on the Sports Huddle. For more information on Henrico Sports and Event Center calendar, visit online at henricosea.com or tune in to the last Wednesday of each month for the Henrico Huddle on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
It's tax time, y'all. If you want to file free, this next one's for you.
Now taxes is so free. Tax-free edition only, roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple form, 1040 returns only. How this is tax.
Love that jam. Up next, commercial.
Ultimate TurboTax free edition. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, student loan interest, and Schedule 1A.
With rising gas prices in the RVA, save money every time you fill up with the Fuel Rewards program at Bon Air Shell. Sign up today at bonairshell.com or stop by 8762 Huguenot Road.
Hey RVA, Paul from All Set Auto Richmond here. That ice storm sure left its mark. That leftover salt and sand are now hazardous to the health of your ride's paint. At All Set, we've got the perfect defense. Paint protection film, ceramic coating, and window tint to keep your paint shielded and shiny and your body cool. And remember, that spring pollen is no match for our detailing services. Look for us right off I-64 at Gaskins Road. Google All Set Auto Richmond or visit allsetauto.com. That's ALSET auto.com.
All Set Auto Richmond. Protect, preserve, personalize.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-935-2277. 800-935-2277.
106.1 ESPN traffic.
We're seeing some merging delays heading north on 195 between Laburnum Avenue and Bryan Park Interchange. Taking a look at 64 eastbound, you can expect some backup between Staples Mill Road and Bryan Park Interchange, as well as heading westbound between Mechanicsville Turnpike and 95. And we're seeing an accident earlier this morning on West Main Street near Robinson Street.
Every headline sounds different when you explain what it actually means. That's the Sports Huddle with Matt and Bob, weekdays 4 to 6 on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Talk to me, talk to me. Talk to me, talk to me.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill here on this Wednesday, March 11th morning. Jack Fitzpatrick. Yesterday, there was a massive, massive news story that broke in the world of the NFL, right? I was in the sickness haze, and I said it earlier. With Bam Adebayo scoring 83 points, I woke up, I saw that headline, I saw that push notification. I was like, wait, what? Who? How? This got to be a dream. And then I woke up today, confirmed it was real. Another thing that broke yesterday that made me going, huh? What? Who? How? Was Max Crosby and his trade to the Baltimore Ravens being voided. The Ravens, of course, gave up a first-rounder this year and a first-rounder next year to get Max Crosby in what I thought was a really good move, honestly, for both sides. Baltimore, they seem like a team. I know this last year they didn't make the playoffs. They fired John Harbaugh, all of that. But they seemed like a team that are on the edge of being a Super Bowl contender. You're in Lamar Jackson's prime. You've got to really go all in. You've got to work around Lamar Jackson's weird contract that you haven't extended him on, you haven't reworked him with. But it felt like a move from the Ravens that said, we can win a Super Bowl this year. The AFC is wide open. Let's go out and let's get a star pass rusher, something they have not had since the glory days of that defense. They've had some guys aging. Kyle Van Noy had a good little quick resurgence there in Baltimore. Jadeveon Clowney was up and down during his time in Baltimore, but they haven't had a young edge rusher in his prime, and that's what Max Crosby was. So for both sides, I really like this deal, honestly. Like, I really did think it was the right deal for both sides. But then the Ravens pulled out yesterday, citing a failed physical, and they didn't feel comfortable moving forward. The Raiders, of course, weren't happy with that. And Diana Rossini of The Athletic is reporting that teams that were interested in trading for Max Crosby, including the Ravens, had conversations with his surgeons and the Raiders medical staff before even making the trade offers. The Ravens doctors, along with multiple independent ones, reviewed Crosby's MRI. They were all unified in the belief that Crosby's short-term outlook was positive, but there were concerns about the long-term prognosis of Crosby's knee. That's according to Diana Rossini's sources. Baltimore believed the risk was too high given the compensation it was giving up. Whew. That seems tough. Feel like we could have figured that out before we made that trade. If we already have an independent doctors, everything like that, taking a look at it before it even happened, feel like we could have figured that out. But alas, they did not, and they pulled out. And something that's percolating in the back of my mind, guess who's still available for 0 first-round draft picks? Trey Hendrickson. Now, he's more at the tail end of his prime. Some would argue he may have even exited his prime, but you would have to give up 0 first-round draft picks to go out and sign Trey Hendrickson. Maybe ink him to a deal that is similar to the Max Crosby deal that you would have been taken on. Clearly, you have the cap space for it. Did Trey Hendrickson being available play a role in all of this? I mean, there's a possibility. Just keep an eye on if Baltimore goes out and they sign a Trey Hendrickson, because that will be a huge, huge black eye, I believe, on Baltimore. I think Baltimore they may have seen that Trey Hendrickson was available, and they're like, you know what? We can get out of this. We have an out. He is injured. He is coming off of this injury. He is coming off of this surgery. We have this out. Trey Hendrickson's still out there. Maybe we can go out there and get him. So for Baltimore, this is not going to look good on them. Much like the Lakers pulling out of the deal with Mark Williams with the Hornets a year ago, where they sent Dalton Knecht to Charlotte. Charlotte sent them Mark Williams, and then they nixed that deal in the 11th hour. It painted the Lakers in a bad light. It made some teams not want to play ball with them. This is going to do the same with the Baltimore Ravens. I think a lot of teams are going to question whether or not they actually want to deal with Baltimore for the remainder of this offseason and even moving forward. And the kicker to it all is that the fact that this is going to drive Max Crosby's price down, because now he is seen literally as damaged goods. It is known that the Raiders are willing and want to get off of him. So I imagine they're going to have to deal him again, probably for a first and a second, because with everything going on now, the Raiders had their massive free agent haul where the Raiders have spent over $280 million in free agency spending this offseason. They've done a lot of that because they had the freed up cap space of Max Crosby being traded to the Ravens, including Tyler Linderbaum at $27 million a year. So now it's a question of, who do you want to keep? Who do you want to get rid of? Do you want to retain this free agency class? How are you going to figure that out? And it's going to be a massive decision to be made, and I think it's going to drive Crosby's price down. And likely the Raiders are only going to get maybe 1 first rounder and then maybe a 3rd rounder. I think it's going to drastically drop the cost of Max Crosby. And now Las Vegas and Baltimore are showing you how quickly an offseason can go sideways. Washington, on the other hand, is showing you how to do it right. So let's quickly talk about the Washington Commanders, because their free agency so far has seen them ink 4 players. 2 of them will be big-time contributors in year 1, and then 2 of them, I think, are going to be rotational pieces, depth types of pieces. The 2 depth pieces, defensive tackle Tim Settle, who they signed to a 3-year deal, $24 million, and cornerback Amik Robinson, who they signed to a 2-year deal worth up to $15 million. Tim Settle was drafted by Washington back when they were the Redskins. He played with them when they were the football team, and now he's going to get an opportunity to lace up with them as the Commanders. Amik Robinson was a kind of a depth piece really with the Detroit Lions as well, and he'll likely be that with the Commanders. And the 2 signings that have been really, really solid have been Owe, the edge rusher who began his career with Baltimore, spent the second half of last season with the Chargers, racking up over 7 sacks during his brief stint with the Chargers, and then signing Leo Chenal, the Chiefs linebacker, who is a versatile hybrid type linebacker who can play on the edge. He can play off ball. You can really slot him in wherever. They signed him to a 3-year, $25-ish million deal. Really great value there for Leo Chenal. He was a key piece in the Chiefs defense in making it to 3 straight Super Bowls. And I know a lot of Commanders fans out there are wanting Washington to go out, and they wanted them to sign an Alec Pierce, a Tyler Linderbaum, get one of those big name splash signings. But the Commanders at this point aren't tilting. They aren't tilting like the Ravens are tilting. You could argue the Ravens tilted when they traded for Max Crosby. They tilted even more by pulling out of that deal. The Raiders are now tilting because the Raiders, they have signed this massive free agent class, and that was because they had all of that freed up cap space for moving off of Max Crosby, including $27 million a year to Tyler Linderbaum. How do they figure that out? Where do they go from there? They for sure are tilting. The Chiefs kind of are tilting in this free agency class. Got a text in at the start of the show. Thanks for K9 from our resident Chiefs fan. Great, good. Have fun with Kenneth Walker. He was $15 million. I think that is a good value for him. And I'm also glad that the Seattle Seahawks did not give him $15 million. I'll just say that. The Chiefs signing him $15 million per year seem interesting. Seems like they're overcorrecting from the past couple of years of having both Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco be one of the worst running back tandems in the NFL. They're tilting a little bit. The Colts are tilting a little bit by signing Alec Pierce, making him a top 10 highest paid wide receiver despite averaging just 2.2 catches per game in his career. They also had to deal Michael Pittman, their wide receiver 1, to the Steelers in order to create enough space for Alec Pierce. Those teams are tilting, right? And the Commanders aren't. And this is a rare spot for the Washington Commanders to be in and Washington Commander fans to be in. I think Commander fans are used to winning day one of the legal tampering period. And the Commanders did not win day one nor day two of the legal tampering period. And that's good. You don't want to win the first couple of days of free agency. The teams that quote unquote have won at free agency are the Raiders, are the Panthers, are the Saints, are the Titans. Those are the 4 highest spending teams as it stands right now in this wave of free agency. And what do all of those teams have in common? Well, the Raiders have the number 1 draft pick. The Titans have a top 5 draft pick. The Panthers, they made the playoffs, but did they really make the playoffs? The Saints, well, they've been in the doldrums of the NFC South now for half a decade. There's a common thread. They aren't consistent winners. The teams that are typically the winners of day 1 and day 2 of free agency are losers come the fall. And the Commanders, they see that. Now, I will say the Commanders are 5th in overall free agency spending because of the $100 million deal that they gave to Owe. But that $100 million is pretty fake. 64% of that $100 million is guaranteed. So really, you signed him to 4 years, whatever 4 divided by 64 is. Good value there. And that $100 million mark, little bleh, not really real. But the Commanders are out there just nailing singles and doubles. And they've been in on some of these big names, right? They've been in on Alec Pierce. They've been in on Romeo Doubs. But something Adam Peters has been adamant about is they aren't going to overspend on players that they don't think they need to overspend on. Lake Lewis Jr. on the Lake Lewis Jr. show last night, you can find it every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m., was reporting that they had a pretty competitive offer to Romeo Doubs. But Doubs ended up going to New England because he wanted to be the wide receiver 1. And in New England, he can be the wide receiver 1. They're cutting Stephon Diggs, and that opens up a gaping hole that he can fill in. He wasn't going to have that same opportunity in Washington. He was going to be wide receiver 2, potentially even wide receiver 3, as Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk both are still in play for Washington. Same with Tyler Linderbaum, right? The Washington Commanders were hard in on Linderbaum, but they weren't going to pay him $27 million. If you take a look at the center landscape, the second highest paid center in the NFL is making $18 million. He's being paid 50% more than the second highest paid center. The Raiders tilted to go out and get Tyler Linderbaum. Now, was it a fine tilt? Maybe. Only time's going to tell on that. They need to get a center in there to help Fernando Mendoza, but that is a huge overspend. And the Commanders weren't going to match that. Adam Peters has been adamant that he's not going to set the market. It's been fine. And what have been the biggest needs for the Commanders? It's been defense, and they have nailed those picks. And they have set themselves up to get Caleb Downs, maybe Sonny Styles, maybe an edge at 7. Got a text in. We are not tilting. I think we did good so far. I think the K9 signing is a little bit of a tilt. You make him one of the highest paid running backs in the NFL after having a couple of years of Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco. They've done well everywhere else, but they've lost a lot. Trent McDuffie's gone. Jalen Watson's gone. Leo Chenal is gone. And now you don't have any defensive signings as it stands now. And day one of free agency, you go out and you get Kenneth Walker at $15 million per year. That seems like a little bit of a tilt, a little bit of an overcorrection, nothing too crazy, but I would say the Chiefs are tilting just a little bit. They're in a spot that I don't think we've ever seen the Kansas City Chiefs been in at this point of the offseason. Because they've got a lot of holes they've got to fix. And, oh, by the way, they got to figure out a backup quarterback. Because as much as Patrick Mahomes says he's going to be ready for week 1, I doubt that. I highly, highly doubt that. All right, we're going to get a break in here. We're going to step aside, be back. Some news or snooze on this Wednesday morning. A lot happened in the World Baseball Classic. That's dominating our headlines on this midweek edition of Fitz the Bill.
This is advertising material.
Injured in an Uber or Lyft? Here's a problem. Was it the driver's fault? The other car? The app company? Good luck figuring that out while you're trying to heal. Alexander Shinar Trial Attorneys, they've got a guy for rideshare accidents. And here's the best part. They don't get paid unless you do. You heal. They fight. One call, 877-222-6666. Or visit alexwins.law. Alexander Shinar Trial Attorneys. Because rideshare accidents need an experienced team.
This is advertising material. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Every case is different. Philip George's licensed attorney in Virginia is responsible for legal work. Office located in Norfolk.
This golf pro tip is brought to you by the professionals at Queenfield Golf Club. If you haven't been active this winter, ease back into your golf game by hitting a bucket of balls on the driving range and make sure to stretch before playing. Most golf injuries occur in the spring when it's a warm day and golfers try to jump into a full swing. When you're ready to hit the links this season, head over to Queenfield Golf Club. Reserve your tee time by calling 804-769-8838 or online at queenfieldgolf.com.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
Amy Cox did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. And with that money, she decided to treat herself to an anti-aging red light mask. Will she look like a horror movie villain every night? Yes. Will her boyfriend Kevin be scarred for life? That's certainly a risk. But it's Amy's savings, and if she's willing to risk her relationship for smooth, wrinkle-free skin, well, bye-bye, Kevin. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hey, did you miss Clinton and Friends?
Walrus and Encino, what's up, dude?
Time has come for track 2 in my Bubba album that I'm starting to create, and this is the second track on the album. What a curmudgeon, Bubba Grump. You really are so rude. How does Devin deal with your stinky attitude, Bubba Grump?
Clinton and Friends, weekdays from 10 to noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Hi, Leif Erickson for SnowCountry.com. Sponsor your job on Indeed. Get matched with quality candidates with Indeed-sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today. Another rather warm one at the mountains, and though later this week we'll still have spring-like temperatures, it won't be quite as extremely warm as right now. It really does tell us, though, that time is of the essence for our mountains closest to home. The season only lasts so long, so get it while you can with that soft snow still in play. Wintergreen still going strong with around 21 runs. Next night session will be on Friday. Meanwhile, look for Massanutten and Bryce Resort to open up again by Friday. Wisp ready to reopen on Friday as well. We're still going daily at Snowshoe, West Virginia, 36 runs. They'll keep it going until March 22nd for this season. Timberline, West Virginia, with signature steeps like White Lightning. Still good coverage on 21 runs, 100% open. Stratton, Vermont will go deep into spring, 98 trails. I'm Leif Erickson for 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
1061 ESPN weather.
We're expecting a breezy and very warm day with a mix of overcast skies and sunshine. Highs this afternoon reaching 86 degrees and lows dropping down tonight to 55. And temperatures are expected to cool down tomorrow with a 90% chance of rain.
If you want more than just the score, you'll find it here.
The Sports Huddle with Bob and Matt, weekdays 4 to 6.
News
Extra, extra, read all about it.
or snooze.
All right, news or snooze here on this Wednesday, March 11th. First one up, World Baseball Classic. Japanese fans give Czech electrical worker Ondrej Satora curtain call.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
I told myself I was not going to try and pronounce that name, but indeed I did, and I think I butchered it, but it is newsworthy, and this is why we love sports, right? Like this Czech electrical worker, if you didn't see it, he had a fantastic outing today. He threw 4 2/3 scoreless innings against Team Japan. It was in a loss as Czechia finished Pool C play 0-4. They lost to Team Japan 9-0. Of course, Japan, we all know, is the defending tournament champion, but he came in. It was the final game he's ever going to play in WBC action. He's returning back home, and he's going to go back to his work as an electrical worker. He is kind of this Japanese folk hero, though, because he struck out Shohei Ohtani in the last World Baseball Classic, kind of made Shohei Ohtani look foolish by dirting a pitch, but Ohtani swung at it and his helmet came off. And then he backs it up the next year by going 4 2/3 scoreless. I mean, really great stuff. And the crazy part about it is the fact that the Japanese fans inside the Tokyo Dome gave him a long-standing ovation, and this is what it sounded like on the broadcast.
It's like walking with a member of the Japanese team. I mean, the stories of him, his moment.
And now the Tokyo Dome crowd giving Ondrej Satora a standing ovation.
So do we. This can only happen in Diamond, between the lines. For the effort put in, the results, in carrying that flag so proudly. Respect from around the world.
Just an awesome performance from him, and just kind of an awesome story. Many of his teammates, most of his teammates, almost all of his teammates also work day jobs. He admits that he's not nearly as noticeable in his home country and that he loves coming to play in Japan. One of his quotes said, "I'm just a regular dude, but here they respect me, have me sign balls. It's really nice to be back here." He also went on to say, "It's like a reward for my whole life playing baseball because no one knows me in Czechia." It's just a really cool story. Good for him to go out like that, to finish his World Baseball Classic career with 4 2/3, getting a curtain call from the away fans inside the Tokyo Dome. All right, next up, Italy. Team Italy upsets Team USA in World Baseball Classic. Shocker. Very newsworthy. 8-6 loss last night. Jeff Passan calling it one of the biggest upsets, if not the biggest upset in the 20-year history of the World Baseball Classic. The kicker to all of this, and this is where it gets real newsworthy, it's the fact that Mark DeRosa, the Team USA manager, said yesterday on Hot Stove, a TV show on the MLB network, he said, quote, "We want to win this game even though our tickets punched to the quarterfinals," which is wrong. They didn't have their ticket punched to the quarterfinals regardless of the outcome of that game. And did the manager not know the situation? Of course, he's now walking back. Team USA's walking back the fact that he said their ticket was punched. He said he misspoke. He knew the situation. He knew they needed to win. But I don't know about all of that, because 8-6 loss, and it looked like you guys were a little lackadaisical, calls into question if you did know that your season, your WBC season, was on the line. Because now, if Italy wins and finishes pool play 4-0, the United States would advance as well. But if Mexico wins, Mexico plays Team Italy. If Mexico wins that game, Mexico would finish 3-1 along with Italy and the U.S. And in that case, tiebreakers would determine which two teams advance to the quarterfinals. And the tiebreakers consider runs allowed per out recorded. What? Runs allowed per out record. All right. If the Italy-Mexico game goes 9 innings and Mexico wins, there's a lot of ifs, but bear with me. If the Italy-Mexico game goes 9 innings and Mexico wins and scores 5 or more runs, the U.S., who are the odds-on favorite entering the tournament, Mexico would advance. Should Mexico win while scoring 4 or fewer, it would advance alongside Italy. All right. So a lot at stake in the Italy-Mexico game, and Mark DeRosa catching some heat, rightfully so, for saying that their tickets were punched to the quarterfinals already. Just crazy stuff. I'm not sure I buy that he just misspoke, because you kind of laid an egg in arguably the biggest game of the season. If you had beaten Italy, your ticket would have been punched, but instead, you're now all of a sudden hoping that another team scores less than X amount of runs or does just really crazy stuff. You're just hoping Italy wins. If Italy wins, you're in. But if Mexico wins, you need a couple of things to break the right way. And if you're the manager of a team, you should know this. And it's just another chapter in this WBC book where Team USA has seemingly not taken any of this seriously. I mean, the fact that they let Tariq Skubal pitch in the opening game, despite him not being able to pitch in the rest of them. Like, I get it from Skubal and the Tigers' perspective, but if I'm Team USA, I don't even let him pitch. I want people who are there, who are fully dedicated to it, who are fully ready to go and be there for the full length of the WBC, be, a good teammate, things like that. We saw it with Team USA on the basketball side. Jason Tatum suited up. He hardly even played. Tyrese Halliburton suited up. He hardly even played. Joel Embiid suited up. He hardly even played. Right? And these are guys who are some of the best players in their sport, and they were willing to take a back seat for the betterment of the country, for the betterment of their team. And yet these baseball players can't do the same. Skubal wanted to pitch, but he didn't want to pitch enough to stay the whole time. And that is a perfect encapsulation of what is wrong with our World Baseball Classic team. And this is just another little cherry on top of it all. All right. Last headline. Geno Smith traded to the New York Jets. Jets. It's snoozeworthy for the fact that he got traded to the Jets. It is slightly newsworthy, however, that he has to, for Geno Smith, right? Like, Geno Smith has resurrected his career. And I know last year he led the league in interceptions with 15. Last year was quite disappointing for him. But if you look back at his Seattle Seahawks tenure, he had a good run there, and it looked like he had resurrected his career. And, if you look at some of his Vegas stats, some of the underlying metrics, and this has been the go-to argument for Geno Smith truthers now for the past half a decade, it feels. But if you look at the underlying statistics for Geno Smith, he was a fine quarterback who should be able to refine the success he had in Seattle, but he was just surrounded by a bunch of Jags out there with the Raiders. And now he's going back to the Jets after being away for 9 years. The Jets, they traded for him. Sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter that the Jets are sending a 2026 sixth rounder to the Raiders in exchange for Smith and a 2026 seventh rounder. Smith was in the Jets facility yesterday morning and passed a physical. Max Crosby can't say the same, but he'll return to where it all started. Since Smith left the New York Jets, fun fact, the New York Jets just end the season. They've had 15 different starting quarterbacks in 9 years. 15. 1-5 in 9 years. 9. What? Come on, New York. Come on, New York. What are they doing in Florham Park, New Jersey? But I feel bad for Geno Smith because it felt like the Jets were a big reason why his career sputtered to start. You could argue the same with Sam Darnold. You could argue the same for a whole heck of a lot of quarterbacks. And now he has to go back. I imagine he didn't have much say in this, because if I'm Geno Smith, I would not want to return to where I broke my jaw in a fight in the locker room. Just crazy stuff. And it's newsworthy because this doesn't move the needle for the Jets. They don't have a lot of talent on that roster, specifically offensively. Sure, you have Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, but the offensive line's a question mark. And there's one constant in Geno Smith. He does need a solid offensive line. He's able to kind of create, but at his core, he's still a gunslinger. And if he's under pressure, he's going to sling it and he's going to throw interceptions, much like he did this past season with the Raiders. A little additional news or snooze, and this one is indeed newsworthy, but Aditi Kunkumbuale of CBS Sports is reporting that the Ravens renegotiated Lamar Jackson's contract yesterday to create more cap room. Multiple sources told Aditi they were clearly readying to onboard Max Crosby until the medical assessment made the price of 2 first-round picks too risky. Then Albert Breer reported this morning at around 7:18 that the Raiders are going to work through different scenarios. Teams called last night to see what Crosby will cost now, but the Raiders are adamant that they will not give him away on a discount, and they're open to keeping him with a revamped crew around him. They know they can still sign their entire free agent class with him still on the roster. So an interesting addition to it. And if it is true that Lamar Jackson signed a renegotiated contract, that should open up more cap room, and the Ravens could potentially go out and sign, guess who? Trey Hendrickson, who's out there. But that's big news, the fact that Lamar Jackson renegotiated his contract in the first place, because he was kind of this stone weighing them down out in the ocean. They needed to rework that. Preferably, they should have reworked that about a month ago, but no time's better than the present, right? And they were able to get it done. But that's some big-time stuff on the Max Crosby front. The Raiders are open to keeping him. The Raiders can keep him while keeping all of the free agents that they have, quote-unquote, signed in the legal tampering period. Those become official today at, I believe, around 9 a.m. When pen hits the paper, it was all legal tampering, so they will be officially signed today. And the Raiders can keep Crosby plus their entire free agent class. And on the Ravens side, they were fully prepared to bring on Max Crosby, even reworking Lamar's contract. So a lot of interesting stuff at play. All right, let's get our last break in here. We'll step aside, be back to wrap up hour number 1 here on Fitz the Bill.
Yo, Harvey, Zoe, group selfie.
Ooh, nice new iPhone 17, Drewski.
Let's do a triangle formation. I'm in front.
With a center stage front camera, everyone fits in the shot.
You got it at T-Mobile.
But switching takes forever.
Not anymore. Now you can switch to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes.
Focus, people. Nail your pose.
And you get a new iPhone 17 on them.
No way.
Yes way.
No way.
Yes way, guys. Switch to T-Mobile and get iPhone 17 on us. And right now, we'll pay off your old phone up to $800.
I'm grabbing my phone and switching to T-Mobile right now.
Get back, Harvey. We're taking a... let's go again, y'all.
With 24 monthly bill credits, finance agreement, 256 gigabytes, $830, eligible trade-in, example iPhone 13 and new qualifying line, $60 plus per month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees. For well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier or cancel. Contact us. $800 via virtual prepaid card. Card typically takes 15 days after rebate submission, no cash access, and card expires in 6 months. Check out in 15 minutes per line. Visit T-Mobile.com.
1061 ESPN on-air interviews presented by the Herman Allen Plumbing Heating and Cooling Hotline with Lennox products that make the air in your home absolutely perfect.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Horse racing is back, and it's time to get ready for another Triple Crown season.
Get the latest from the industry every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 with Off to the Races on 106.1 ESPN.
Presented by The Racing Biz. Nick Hahn and Frank Vespi bring you their insight and knowledge, talking with the people making the headlines, including jockeys, trainers, and owners. Plus, get the expert picks each week, including a visit by Derby Bill Watson. It's Off to the Races each Saturday morning at 10 on 106.1 ESPN. Streaming live on the iHeartRadio app.
From kickoff to the final whistle.
Let's go! Your Sundays belong to the NFL. The league's best matchups all season long.
Only on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks NFL all season long.
We're gonna start the fire.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill here on this Wednesday, March 11th. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. We'll be joined Alan Sandage from Charlotte, North Carolina, the real Queen City, coming up in hour number 2 as he's down there covering the ACC tournament. Last night, Virginia Tech fell 95-89 to Wake Forest in an overtime heartbreaker, an absolute bummer way to end the season. And now Virginia Tech, they've just got to wait and see. The always fun wait and see game for Selection Sunday because they are squarely on the bubble. They were hoping this ACC tournament would give them a couple of resume boosts, give them a couple of opportunities to rack up a win or two, something they weren't really able to do down the tail end of their season. They would have had Clemson next up, but instead they're going to sit at home. They don't get any opportunities to boost their resume. And Virginia Tech is quite interesting because you look at what they've done this season. They're 2-10 against Q1 teams, but they're 17-2 against Q2, Q3, and Q4. But that 2-10 against Q1, really hard to stomach. Right now, they're on the first 4 out on most bracketologies. We'll see where the dust settles between now and the end of championship week. But Alan Sandage, live from Charlotte, will be joining us to start hour number 2 to talk about that game and so much more from around the Queen City. He's down there covering the ACC tournament. Stay with us. That's coming up in hour number 2 here on this midweek edition of Fitz the Bill on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports.
Looking for the perfect golf course? Check out RVA's best kept secret, Queenfield Golf Club, just a few minutes past Mechanicsville. Reserve your tee time today at queenfieldgolf.com.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love. Sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
Amber and Ian. Tua, don't even take the phone call. I don't care if they offer you more money than anybody else. Do not go to the New York Jets.
What if they're the only team that wants them?
Go to broadcasting.
Realistically.
Go coach at Alabama. Get out. Do not go to the Jets. Take a year off. Go climb a mountain. Head to Tibet. Any quarterback that is considering the Jets right now, that's the inner rings of Dante's Inferno.
Amber and Ian, weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and in 2009, it was me, your fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when one of my embers landed on dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN.
The second hour of Fitz the Bill is brought to you by Birdie Golf. Tired of paying premium prices for big-name golf balls that overpromise and underdeliver? Step up your game with Birdie Golf. Learn more about a local company at birdiegolf.com. Change out the I's for ones, and you're there. That's B1RD1E golf.com. Birdie Golf.
You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 106.1 ESPN.
Welcome in hour number 2 of Fitz the Bill here on this Wednesday, March 11th edition. Appreciate you clocking in, making us part of your morning right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, the ESPN Richmond app, and of course, ESPNRichmond.com. We're also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you want to watch the stream, just type in ESPN Richmond. We'll pop right on up. You can watch the stream, and you can be part of it by liking, commenting, and of course, subscribing. And you can be part of the show by calling or texting into the Radke Insurance phone line, 804-327-0888. And you can head to radkeyinsurance.com to get started on your free quote today. And we're going to head on out down to Charlotte, where Alan Sandage is live on location. He's leaving me all alone here in the home studios like I did to him a couple of weeks ago when I was up in Indianapolis. Good morning, Alan. How are you doing after last night's fun game between Virginia Tech and Wake Forest?
Hey, Jack, I got to tell you, I had a steak last night.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Incredible.
No, I bet you did. Charlotte, known for its great steaks.
No, I'm joking. I've been doing great. The atmosphere definitely changed when the Hokies started playing.
How so?
Well, it was weird. Like the first couple games, I mean, there was fans there, but it just wasn't ACC energy. And then when the Hokies came in and Wake Forest came in, I don't know if it's because Wake Forest is here in like North Carolina, but like the energy just changed. It felt like a tournament game. It felt like March atmosphere.
And we got a March type of game. 95-89, went to overtime, was absolute cinema. I mean, they were without one of their key players, Virginia Tech was, and that kind of hurt them. But really was a good game. I think honestly too, Pitt and Stanford. Those aren't ACC those aren't ACC teams. Pitt from the Big East, Stanford from the Big 12, Syracuse, SMU. You could kind of argue the same as well. Wake and Virginia Tech, 2 ACC teams.
Well, the Pitt fans actually traveled though. That's the crazy
interesting
thing. Yeah, it was a solid crowd of Pittsburgh fans, but it just felt different. It felt like this is March when the Hokies and Stanford were playing, and it's not because of the game or how close it was. It just felt like a competitive, gritty game.
And what was it in the end that you think helped Wake Forest push out to that 6-point win in overtime?
Wake just was able to make the plays. I know it sounds cliche, but Coach Young kind of brought it up in his press conference. Like they just made the plays when Tech didn't. Like the easy layups, Tech was rimming out. Wake Forest was making them. And then like loose balls, a lot of turnovers from Virginia Tech. But Wake also had turnover-worthy plays, but they would just get the ball back. Like it would just bounce their way.
Yeah, 13 turnovers for Virginia Tech last night, just 9 for Wake Forest. And offensively, Virginia Tech was doing enough to win the game. Just defensively, they allowed Wake Forest to find a rhythm. Wake Forest shot 60% from inside the arc and 36% from outside the arc. That's going to get it done more times than not. And that's a huge win for Wake as they look to kind of they're really on the outside looking in. But, who knows with how this run goes. Maybe they're the NC State of years past.
Yeah, I think Wake Forest's size gave Virginia Tech a little bit of a problem. The issue being that when they would switch with their bigs, the guards of Wake Forest were too quick. And there was nobody there to protect the paint, because the bigs are stretched out wide. And so they throw it inside, and you got guys just dunking the ball and getting easier layups. And I know Tech was playing with a lot of energy. I can't say that they lost this game because of effort, but they just ultimately were just not good enough in this spot.
And without Amani Hansberry, who missed the game, he's like their best player. That was a huge, huge blow to them. And I know Coach Young after the game was harping on the fact that they don't want to use excuses. They're not going to rely on the fact that Hansberry wasn't out there. But not having Amani Hansberry, I think, really hamstrung them in this game.
Well, it sounds like they thought Hansberry was going to play, or at least was moving towards playing as early as them basically walking them through before the game. And then it was like he can't play. And I'll say, having watched the Hokies all year, they didn't quite have a rhythm in the first half. And maybe it's because they were all anticipating Hansberry to be there, even though they've played without him. I think it was kind of a emotional letdown before the game started. They just had to recover.
And now we've got 4 games on the slate today: Pitt, NC State, SMU, Louisville, Cal, Florida State, Wake Forest, Clemson. You headed to any of the games today? What's your plan of attack for this loaded slate?
My plan of attack today is to definitely be there for Wake Forest versus Clemson, because I know the energy will be there.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know how Pitt can beat NC State. I think SMU has a chance against Louisville, just based on the fact Louisville is going to be without one of their key players.
Yeah.
And I think that was unexpected for them as well. Florida State Cal might be competitive, but it's funny how the ACC has framed some of these games. Like yesterday, you could tell, and I'm not trying to put the ACC in a bad light, but they know who their marketable cash cow eyes are going to be watching games.
Yeah, I mean, they put Wake Forest on at night. They know that's one of their big draws. They're putting Wake Forest Clemson at 9:30 tonight on ESPN2. You know that's going to be a big draw. And then, I mean, luckily for them, they got all their big names for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, tomorrow is definitely going to be the A++ slate. But I just don't know if anybody down here can really take Duke. Even if Duke has a bad game, I think it's going to just take a whole lot to beat them.
Really, even with the injuries that have mounted up for him, you think it's still Duke? It's their tournament to lose?
Yeah, I think it's Duke's tournament to lose, just because they're going to get so much energy from this crowd. It'll be like a Cameron Indoor game.
Do you think UVA has any shot? I'm catching up with Preston Willett later today. He covers UVA for the Sabre, and he's the host the Who's On podcast. I'll get his thoughts on this too, but do you think there's any chance that UVA pulls something out?
Yeah, I think UVA has a puncher's chance, and I say that because they've got the arsenal to beat Duke, but they just have to figure out, how do we beat Duke outside of Cam Boozer? Because we're not going to stop Cam Boozer.
Yeah, Baby Boozer's going to go off.
Yeah, and I think their last game when they played him at Cameron Indoor, the issue was they got beat on the perimeter, on the defensive side and the offensive side. If they can solve that riddle, they should be fine. I would imagine UVA fans are going to travel well, because Virginia Tech, let me tell you, I was pleasantly surprised to see how many Hokie fans showed up last night. So much so, Jack, with like maybe 3 minute break in the second half.
Yeah.
They play Inner Sandman.
Wow.
The music goes off and the crowd kept it going a cappella. And it sounded like I was at Virginia Tech, and the disgust by the Demon Deacon fans was hilarious. Even the coaches were complaining.
Oh my goodness, that's epic. Good for them. Good for that. It's a bummer that they lost, because that could have been fun down the road. But so with Duke, you still think they've got a chance with Patrick Ngongba not playing in this tournament? They're saving him for the NCAA tournament, letting him get healthy. Caleb Foster also won't be playing. Those are 2 big misses for this Duke squad.
Yeah, the Foster one I think is the one that will be the biggest hindrance, because again, they're beating people inside out, right? Cam's got everything inside. He can help with the outside, but primarily he's doing his work with the rebounds and everything inside. And then they have these guys that he can feed, or they can move the ball around to, that'll hit the open threes. And I think Foster being out will probably hurt them a little bit more on their rhythm. But they're still immensely talented. And Cam Boozer in a tournament format like this, I think you can depend on him to carry you every game if needed.
Yeah, I mean, watch him average like 25 per game and 12 rebounds or something crazy. Like, this is when he shines. This is when he's going to try and etch himself into that one spot in the NBA draft. If he shows up.
His dad's literally right there on the side working and watching.
Yeah, I was about to say, Carlos Boozer's on the ACC network like halftime show last night between Wake and Virginia Tech, and I was like, man, this guy's got a front row seat to his son. He's going to be doing all of the Boozer propaganda, which he should.
No, I give him credit. He's been now when I've talked to him, because I talked to him a lot last year, and based on what I've heard him say this year, he doesn't seem like he's kind of like Carmelo, like he's proud of his son. And he's willing to like give him credit if somebody else brings it up, but he's not initiating the comments.
Yeah. The only difference between Boozer and Melo is that Boozer's son is on a good team and Melo's son is on a team that just fired their head coach as of 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know Matt's happy about that.
Yeah.
He wanted that. And I'm not going to lie. They were a big energy letdown yesterday.
I think a lot of Syracuse faithful have been waiting for the day that Syracuse was going to let Autry go. That was not a matter of if, it was a matter of when, and it might be a year or two too late. Good luck to whoever takes over that program, because that's going to be a tough program to resurrect. I do want to get your thoughts here as we take a look at the 4 games tonight. Your quick picks against the spread, because NC State is the biggest spread here tonight, or I guess today, as they tip off at noon against Pitt. NC State, the Wolfpack, 9.5-point favorites. You think they cover that?
They should. Pitt is they're a team that's gonna beat you by effort. They're nice blue collar team. They ain't got no skill players over there, man.
And former VCU head coach as well.
Yeah, both of them, man.
Oh yeah, I guess it is the battle of VCU former coaches.
It's my 2 least favorites, but I don't obviously have the same disdain for Capel as I do for Will Wade.
Fair.
But I'll be fair. Will Wade's got the better team here.
Yeah, he does. And he's also another team that's squarely on the bubble, and they need to get a couple of resume boosts here on out to try and secure their way in. Virginia Tech couldn't do that, and they're probably going to find themselves playing in the NIT if they pick that route.
I think Tech's out, man. I don't know how you could put them in the NCAA. They have been very disappointing down the stretch.
And they stink against the best teams they play. They're 2-10 against Q1, yet they're 17-2 against Q2 through Q4. Maybe that's enough to push them in, but that 2-10 mark against the Q1 teams is bad.
They haven't played good basketball. I mean, if the metric is the net and some eye test, there's no way they pass the eye test.
Not at all. SMU Louisville. Louisville's a 6.5-point favorite here tonight. Louisville's been an interesting team this season. It feels like they've been a little up and down. Do you think they cover that spread?
I would worry about this game just based off the momentum that SMU is going to bring in from yesterday. Like, they look like, like in horse racing terms, they see horses practice and they're like, oh, he wanted to go longer, right?
Yeah.
Like SMU looked like they could have played 2 games yesterday and been just fine. So I worry about Louisville just coming into this game from a standstill and SMU coming in with a head start.
Yeah, it's going to be I mean, Louisville also kind of faded down the stretch of the season after Valentine's Day. They played 6 games. They went 3-3 in those 6, and their losses weren't all of that great. It was an SMU 10-point loss. It was a 3-point loss at UNC, and then a 5-point loss at Clemson. So they've got their work cut out for them. Although Louisville did finish the season off with a win at Miami, which was a little interesting. But Pat Kelsey's squad, they've been hot and cold this season. If they're hot, I think they can win by 30. If they're cold, I think SMU's got a real shot.
Oh, for sure. And guard play on SMU was phenomenal yesterday.
Cal, Florida State. Florida State, 4.5-point favorite.
Who you want to win? That's the real thing.
Yeah, I mean, this game to me is like, all right, cool. Whoever plays, you play it, and then you move on.
Yeah, I think Florida State, I'll give them the nod to win. Not sure about the spread. Cal last year played pretty well in the tournament, but they had Baby Peja. I know they were well coached last year as well in the tournament. So that gives me a little bit of pause.
And last one here real quick. Wake, Clemson 5.5-point favorites.
Get me Wake to cover.
I love it. Alan, enjoy your time down there. I hope you get a steak as well, just to rub it in my face, or some really good barbecue. I've got a couple of spots or a spot for good wings. I'll let you know. I'll text you off on the side.
All right, man.
Thank you so much, Alan. Enjoy your time in the true Queen City. There goes Alan Sandage as he's down at Charlotte, North Carolina for ACC tournament action. He will be on site for a couple of games today, and then all the big ones starting tomorrow, as that's when the big dogs are in action. The top 4 seeds who received a double bye. Appreciate Alan for taking some time out of his morning, waking up a little earlier than he had to chat with us. All right, we're going to get a quick break in here. We'll be joined on the other side. Rob from Birdie Golf, Adam from Stonehouse. They'll be taking some time to chat about the upcoming Birdie Classic. You don't want to miss it. All coming up right here on Fitz the Bill.
The Down on the Farms Concert Series welcomes Luke Combs UK to the Secure Testing Services Pavilion at the Hanover Vegetable Farm on Saturday, June 20th, 2026. Dust off your hats and boots. Luke Combs UK, the world's leading tribute to Luke Combs and endorsed by the man himself, is coming to town for an unforgettable night of country music. Tickets go on sale this Friday, December 12th at 11 a.m. All details at FOTFconcerts.com. Presented by Premise Bank, B&W Builders, Bud Light, Richmond Ford West, and Ultimate Pools.
Americans are paying more for home and auto insurance, and many are asking what can actually bring those costs down. American Property Casualty Insurance Association President and CEO David Sampson says inflation and disasters play a role, but addressing legal system abuse is a key part of the solution.
Excessive legal costs drive insurance prices higher. States that reduce legal system abuse are seeing stronger markets and lower rates. Addressing these costs help protect consumers.
Learn more at apci.org/insurance.
Bring your visions to life with smart business buying tools and technology from Amazon Business. From fast, free shipping to in-depth buying insights and automated purchase approvals, we deliver everything you need to achieve your goals. Go to amazonbusiness.com for support.
Even if you've given up on your New Year's resolutions, one health habit that's easy to keep is Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver protects your liver so you can enjoy life to the fullest. Online at Amazon, in stores at CVS, Walgreens, and now GNC.
Girl, I got a new dryer. You did not. I did. I got the best price in town.
How do you know that?
Because I got a guy.
An appliance guy?
Yeah, his name is Rob. He's gotcha.
Still putting off replacing your old appliances? I'm Rob Nicholson, the appliance guy. At East Coast Appliance, we're Virginia's largest independent appliance dealer of top brand names. Plus, we have a huge selection of brand new scratch and dent appliances at discounted prices. Visit East Coast Appliance today. The best price, or it's free. Shopping for an appliance but not sure where to start? This is Rob Nicholson from East Coast Appliance, and we believe the first step to finding the perfect appliance is to know exactly what you're looking at. For over 34 years, we've taken pride in becoming Virginia's largest independent appliance retailer with a full staff of knowledgeable appliance experts. So shopping with us first will help you through this process. Whether you decide to buy from us or not, you'll leave with the knowledge you need to make the best appliance selection for your home. East Coast Appliance, the best price, or it's free.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-511-5493. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-511-5493. That's 800-511-5493. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Henrico Sports and Entertainment Authority Executive Director Dennis Bickmeyer joins Bob Black for the Henrico Huddle, ESPN Richmond's newest monthly feature.
Think about this. In 2006, $20,000 equaled roughly 33 ounces of gold at the spot price. At today's prices, those 33 ounces would be worth over $150,000. Smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals. That's why I buy gold from Birch Gold Group. It's a crucial part of my balanced strategy. Gives me peace of mind given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. See if holding gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you too. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text my name, Dan, to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, let Birch Gold help you diversify with gold. Now that's peace of mind. Text Dan to 989898. Again, text my name, Dan, to the number 989898 today. Message and data rates apply.
Looking to grow your local business? Let's team up. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, host of Fitz the Bill on ESPN Richmond. Together, we can craft on-air campaigns that drive customers right through your doors. Ready to collaborate? Email me, jack.fitzpatrick@summitmediacorp.com.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill rolling right along on this Wednesday, March 11th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, and we are joined now. Rob from Birdie Golf, Adam from Stonehouse Golf Club. Guys, good morning. Rob, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Doing well as well. Adam, how are you on this Wednesday morning?
I am fantastic.
I love to hear it. Great vibes all around. Rob, I want to start here because if you've been listening to the station, you've heard Birdie Golf. They've been the sponsor of our second hour. They've been fantastic to work with. You guys have an awesome event coming up, the Birdie Classic. But I want to start here, Rob. What is Birdie Golf? How did you start this company? Why did you decide to start a golf ball company?
For me, it's about trying to give back to the golfers, right? Everybody wants to have the top premium ball and not want to pay that premium price at $70 for a dozen balls. So for me, I kind of went into the lab. I said, hey, what can I do? I started digging into the metrics of how golf balls are made and how the dimple patterns are done. And I just gave it a shot. I worked with the manufacturer. It's actually the same manufacturer as 3 other major brands. And, I create the ball at home, get on the platform, I create it, send it out to the manufacturer, and then they process it, send me the samples. If I approve of it, we put it into production. So a typical golf ball for Birdie Golf with the same numbers, you're going to be paying about $32 to $35.99 compared to $69.99 for a dozen balls. I mean, who doesn't want to play with premium golf balls on a beautiful course like Stonehouse or any other course in Virginia at a fraction of the cost?
Rob, you're speaking my language. As someone who loses as many golf balls as I actually hit in play each time I go out and play 18, I always like to find the best quality, but also one that's not going to break the bank, because I understand that if I slice it, which I typically do coming off the tee box, I don't want to have to lose too much money per ball. And you guys got this awesome event coming up in about a month, the Birdie Classic. Rob, why'd you decide to begin the Birdie Classic? How many years have you been doing it?
So this is going to be the actual first annual Birdie Classic. And the reason that I did this is we have so many great creators, across the nation, all the way from West Coast to East Coast, North to South. And I've built a lot of great relationships within the industry. So for me, it was like, hey, let's put together, reframe that. You have all these bigger content creator classics and everything like that. So for me, it was, let's bring a lot of creators that have a substantial following and also ones that don't have a big following, and let's bring them to Virginia to showcase the Birdie Classic, and also let the public partake in the event as well to play with some of these creators that they follow. It's not always about making a buck. It's about being humble and down to earth and just showcasing your game. That's, for me, what it's all about.
That's awesome. Adam, you guys over at Stonehouse Golf Club, you'll be hosting the Birdie Classic. How's it been working with Rob to get ready for this first annual Birdie Classic?
Oh, it's been wonderful. Rob's a really great guy. We constantly are in communication. I've been giving him a few lessons because he will be on my team and we will be winning. But yeah, I've seen him a lot. It's been fantastic. Rob's a great guy.
All right, Adam, what has Rob had to work on the most in order for you guys to increase the odds of winning?
Everything.
Iron. No, iron. He can putt and he can chip, which is very important in the game of golf, but we need to hit those irons a little better.
Rob, I'm right there with you. My iron play, well, I'm really bad off the tee. I slice everything straight right or straight left. Not great with the irons, but you give me a wedge, I can chip it within 5 feet of the hole, but I can't get it to that spot. It's a tough spot to be in. For you, Rob, here, what can people expect out of the Birdie Classic? You answered it a little bit, but if I'm showing up on the day of the event, what can I expect to play?
First thing you're going to realize right off the bat is the energy. There's going to be so much great positivity, so much great energy going into the beginning of the event. We have a lot of great things that have been implemented for this. events, challenge-wise, obviously team-wise. So for me, again, it's about being in a very great environment at a very beautiful course. I mean, it's one of the top courses in Virginia, I believe, and I think it's just the energy alone is what you're gonna really thrive off of and enjoy.
Sounds like it's going to be a blast. Adam, what with your Stonehouse Golf Club, why'd you guys decide to be the host club for this event?
Well, we're always into trying new things, and to be the inaugural course that the tournament will be held at, it feels good, and just to get our name out there. Stonehouse was closed for 2 years and completely unattended at all, and before that the reviews were terrible, but we're trying to get the word back out that we are open and we are in fantastic shape, and we want people to come out and see us.
That's awesome. What kind of adjustments did you guys make during that downtime? What kind of additions or subtractions did you guys do to make your course kind of stand out?
Yeah, we changed a lot of the bunkers, like drainage in the bunkers, because it's a Mike Strand design. We have incredibly deep and large bunkers, which are hard to maintain. So we filled a few in and helped with the drainage on that, and that just goes such a long way. We also changed our putting surfaces to Bermuda grass instead of the bent grass. It's much easier to maintain in the summertime, and we have a lot of square footage in greens, so it's just much easier to maintain, and the putting is true and it is beautiful.
That makes a lot of sense. Rob, listeners of the station may also know you as Raven Rob, right? So I got to know,
yes, sir.
We've got you on the line here. One, if you're buying Birdie Golf, you're buying from someone local, someone who cares about the community. But secondly, I want to know what your thoughts are on the Max Crosby situation before we let you guys out of here.
Like I told you a few days ago, I think that it was way overpriced. 2 first rounds for Mike Crosby. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great, fantastic player. I'd love to have him on the Ravens. 2 first rounds is just too excessive. If we're going to be honest, I'd say a second round this year, possibly a first round next year is kind of what I see that is doable for Max Crosby. I mean, you also got to take into consideration he's not as young as he used to be. He's not old, but, all of that wear and tear, I mean, he's a monster. How many hits is he putting in on a year? How many stacks is he getting? That wears down on the body year by year. So I say second round this year, first round next year, I think is doable. If they can restructure that and still get him, hey, go grab him. But there's also something in the works. I'm not going to say, but I have an insider with the Ravens, and they're actually working on something on the receiver core. And if it goes through, it's going to be pretty fantastic. So we'll see if that holds up, and y'all see what happens on that. And I do want to touch base on one more thing for the Classic.
Yeah.
Not only is this, just the Birdie Classic, but this is to represent the Virginia area, the RVA area. I want to showcase that we have a lot of great things in Virginia to these golfers. And that's one of the biggest things. And also, we are making a donation for autism. That's another thing that is going to be a part of this event. So, all of the raffle tickets that you buy, some of the proceeds that we get from all the golfers registering, the donations, the sponsors, everything like that, we will be making a donation for autism. And, why not support not only Birdie Golf and the premium balls, but a great cause like autism. At the end of the day, it's about being humble. It's about being down to earth and just being a great human being. So again, I really enjoy it. I thank ESPN Fitz the Bill for being a part of this event and being a sponsor. Stonehouse, you guys are amazing. My golf game ain't that good. I can drive, I can putt, I can chip.
It's getting better.
Right,
it's getting better.
But
getting better, man.
what I will say is this has just truly been a humbling experience, not only for my brand, but just for the area and making good friends. Never knew Adam, and I feel like we've built such an amazing friendship, and there's going to be many more years down the road. And last but not least, all of the great prizes and these special guests, the long drive champion that will be there. Mr. Perryman, he is a long drive pro champion. And, he will be there playing on hole, what was it, 14, Adam?
Correct.
Is it
13.
13. Hole 13 he will be on. And if you purchase for him to hit your ball and you hole out on the very next shot, you will win a paid trip for a golf trip. So, there's so many great things, and I just look forward to it.
That all sounds fantastic. Sounds awesome. Appreciate you guys taking some time to chat. We look forward to April 11th with the Birdie Classic, everything you guys got going on. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Yes, sir. Go Birdie and go Ravens.
I love it. Thank you guys so much. There goes Rob and Adam. Rob from Birdie Golf, Adam from Stonehouse Golf Club. Appreciate them taking some time, stopping by to chat about the upcoming Birdie Classic. You can find out more. Stonehouse Golf Club on Instagram. They've got the information. Birdie Classic as well. B1RD1E Classic. It's April 11th. There's so much stuff that they've got up their sleeves that's coming for the event. You do not want to miss it. And I really do appreciate them taking some time out of their day to chat about it. And want to go back into the ACC tournament, everything that's happening down there. We'll be joined by Preston Willett in just about 8 minutes or so as he is on his way. He might be on his way tomorrow morning down to Charlotte, North Carolina as UVA gets their ACC tournament underway. But we're catching up with Preston Willett about what he expects out of the Cavaliers with this run, how they can improve their potential seeding line. As it stands now, a lot of bracketologists have them around the 4 seed line. Maybe they can bump that up just a little bit. But last night, the other Virginia school that was in action fell in overtime to Wake Forest, 95-89. And what was a shaky bubble may have popped with that loss last night. It was a team that at one point looked solid coming out of non-conference play. Virginia Tech, they looked like a good basketball team that was going to be a dark horse to contend in the ACC. They were 11-2 in non-conference play, but then the wheels sputtered a bit in ACC play, finishing 8-10 in the regular season, finishing technically 8-11 now if you include their loss to Wake Forest. They had a ton of great Q1 opportunities in ACC play, but they came up short, it seemed, time and time again. And head coach Mike Young yesterday at the mic following the team's 95-89 overtime setback had this to say.
We did a lot of things right. 12-2, 11-2, maybe coming out of non-conference. We didn't have a blemish. We still don't have a blemish. We had great opportunities. We had unbelievable opportunities. Now, a lot of those opportunities were on the road. North Carolina, Louisville. We won at Clemson, won at Syracuse, on and on. Had Duke at home, and they're playing really, really good basketball. We had our opportunities, and we came up just short. And that's disappointing, infuriating, and take a lot of responsibility there.
Just talked about it there. They came up short. They had lost opportunities. And last night, it seemed like it was another lost opportunity. We've been talking about it, right? Virginia Tech is squarely on the bubble. They needed to use the ACC tournament as an opportunity to get a couple of resume boosts. And it started with Wake Forest. And then from there, it would have been Clemson. And then from there, it would have been whoever was waiting for them next. Like, this was a prime spot for them to start racking up some Q1, Q2 wins and showing the committee that they are a team that can beat good teams. But without Amani Hansberry, their best player, they just could not overcome the lack of him, or I guess without having him, and they fell on their face time and time again. You heard Alan when he joined us at the top of the second hour. Virginia Tech was just kind of out of sorts, out of rhythm in the first half, and it took them a while to find a rhythm in the second half And by the time they did, they were able to tie it, but it's a little too late with it all. Amani Hansberry is their best front court passer. He connects the Hokies offensively, and his absence was totally felt. But Coach Mike Young was adamant there was more to it than that.
Doing it a long time, Mark. 24 years as a head coach. You've never heard me make an excuse. Was it hurtful? Yeah. But tonight down Amani, you've got to find a way to continue to win. And we didn't do enough of that. So not quite good enough.
Not quite good enough. And that kind of feels like it's been the story of Virginia Tech the last couple of seasons. Now, Mike Young has been assured that he'll be coming back again next year. But after a disappointing 2024-25 and now a disappointing and early ACC tournament exit in 2025-26, it's starting to feel a little tough. Now, all Virginia Tech can do is wait for Selection Sunday, but a sub-500 record in the ACC, a 2-10 record against Q1 teams. They are squarely on the outside looking in. Almost all bracketologies out there, you can round them up on bracketmatrix.com. Almost all of them have them as a first 4 out team because of their 2-10 record against Q1 opponents. Sure, they're 17-2 against Q2, Q3, and Q4. They're undefeated this season against Q3 and Q4 teams. They're 11-0. They're 6-2 against Q2 teams. But the fact they are 8 games below 500 against quadrant 1 teams, the teams in theory you will have to beat to win NCAA tournament games, the committee is going to take a lot of information from that. And I just don't think Virginia Tech has a good enough resume to get in. And for Mike Young, it's another disappointing season. They brought in a couple of key transfers that they thought were going to make the difference. They really didn't. And now it's going to be a question of who can you retain? Who can you bring back next year? Amani Hansberry, you got to hope that he can come back for his senior year. The Greek guy that they had, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, Nicholas Avadalis. He showed flashes of being really good, but at times it looked like the college game was a little too fast for him. How does he develop over this next offseason? Does he even stick around? There's a lot of questions that Mike Young has to answer, and this Virginia Tech team has to answer. After a great non-conference slate, you've got to imagine that great non-conference slate was just because they were beating up against Q3 and Q4 teams. Do they try to test themselves a little bit more in the non-conference slate? Something that NC State did, and it's actually benefiting NC State now as they find themselves on the right side of the bubble, and they'll continue playing in the ACC tournament today against Pitt in the second round. A lot of questions for Virginia Tech as they head into the offseason. Not a lot of questions for UVA, though. UVA, they seem pretty steadfast in hiring Ryan Odom as they are the 2 seed in the ACC tournament. They're not in action until tomorrow, but Preston Willett, writer for The Saber and the host of the Who's On podcast, will be joining on the other side of this break to chat about UVA in the ACC tournament, what they need to do to cut down the nets, and how much they can impact their seed line heading into the NCAA tournament. That's coming up next, right here on Fitz the Bill.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Every business starts with an idea. With smart business buying from Amazon Business, get everything you need to grow in one familiar place. From office supplies to IT essentials and maintenance tools. Ready to bring your visions to life? Learn how at AmazonBusiness.com.
Even if you've given up on your New Year's resolutions, one health habit that's easy to keep is Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver protects your liver so you can enjoy life to the fullest. Online at Amazon, in stores at CVS, Walgreens, and now GNC.
Hey golfers, spring is just around the corner, and that means it's time to head over to Queenfield Golf Club. Queenfield is a beautifully secluded 18-hole course just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville that offers a spacious driving range, practice greens and bunkers, and professionally maintained golf course. Take the afternoon off or schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve your spot online at queenfieldgolf.com and make Queenfield Golf Club your new favorite golf course.
Here's a tale of Linda trying to lose weight, but the med presses she found were all over the place.
Hidden fees and markups made her jaw drop low. Then she found Good RX. Now she's in the know.
GLP-1 subscriptions FDA approved.
With clear upfront pricing.
And same-day pickup.
That's Good RX, the no-nonsense way. Save time and money on prescriptions.
Get to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Nothing Bun Cakes is all about bringing joy. We're your one-stop shop for all occasions and holiday celebrations. Stop by any one of our 5 Nothing Bun Cakes bakeries in the Richmond area or visit online at nothingbbuncakes.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-511-5493. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com or call 800-511-5493. That's 800-511-5493. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
We don't wait to react. We lead the conversation.
And what it means next.
The Sports Huddle with Bob and Matt. Weekdays 4 to 6.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill here on this Wednesday, March 11th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick as we are joined now. Preston Willett, writer for The Saber and host of Who's On podcast as he gets set for the ACC tournament. UVA's ACC tournament begins tomorrow. Preston, appreciate you taking some time out of your day to chat with us.
Yeah, Jack, absolutely. It's always a good time of year. It's March, basketball's in bloom, and we got the ACC tournament already underway.
Who would have thought we would be talking prior to your trips down to Charlotte for the ACC championship game in football? And then, well, we all knew that it'd be an ACC tournament trip at the tail end of the season for basketball. But really, the shocking part is we've had to do it for football and now basketball.
Yeah, I know. It's Charlotte has just become a home away from home. I really should look into a timeshare.
Hey, I might know a guy down there if you need some help. I want to start here kind of away from the ACC tournament before turning our attention to the ACC tournament, because John Shire won Coach of the Year, and I think it riled up some UVA fans, even some non-UVA fans, maybe Miami fans as well, thinking that maybe Odom or Lucas should have won the award, not necessarily John Shire. What were your thoughts on Shire winning Coach of the Year?
Yeah, I kind of had John Shire as my pick. I didn't have a vote this year, but he would have been my pick this year because it's absurd that no Duke coach had won it prior to this year since 2000. And I can remember more than a few years where I'm like, okay, but like Coach K was the best coach in the league. Like, why are we why are we voting for these other guys who are long gone, have long, been either fired or ousted or whatever. But so I think Shire, just the job that he did defensively this year with this Duke team, Coach K got a lot of flack towards the end of his tenure at Duke because he kind of just rolled the ball out. John Shire did nothing but he didn't do any rolling the ball out. Like, that was a really well-coached team. I was a little surprised, though, that Ryan Odom finished third. And I understand the talk about Jay Lucas and, his Miami was in a really bad spot last year. but so was Virginia. Like, Virginia was not a good basketball program last year. I think people kind of forget about that. And honestly, Miami had the more recent success under Larranaga. So I was a little surprised that Ryan Odom finished third in the league, but I think John Shire was probably the right pick for this year just because of how dominant that Duke team has been.
That's a great way to put it. I even talked with a couple of other coaches about just this was more so on Sunbelt voting for the coach of the year, but other coaches are just like, yeah, whoever wins the league, they're going to be coach of the year because they did the best job at winning basketball games. And I felt like that kind of fit Shire. Like he won the most basketball games. He deserves to be coach of the year. And that's kind of how it shook out. And it makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think there's always this interesting discourse around coach of the year. Is it about who improves the most over preseason expectations, or is it about like who was the best coach or who had the best team this year? And I think I try to go back historically and look through the ACC, coach of the year over the past 10 years or so, and it flips every year. It's kind of just whatever you're feeling that year.
Preston Willett, writer for The Saber and host of Who's On podcast, joining us this Wednesday morning. And Preston, turning to the ACC tournament, UVA will have a test. Whoever wins today, they'll have a test tomorrow. But something that has been a constant, I think, thorn in some UVA fan side, is specifically the UVA fans that call into this show. It's been the Cavaliers' tendency to keep teams in the game where they've had some big leads, like against Virginia Tech in the regular season finale, but it seemed like they never fully stepped on the throat just to pull away and win. Is that an issue that you also see, and is that an issue that you see popping up here in March?
No, it's definitely been, especially the last two games after the Duke loss, it's been a big problem because they were far and away better than Wake Forest, and I think Virginia Tech as well. But yet they could only keep them kind of at arm's length distance the whole time. They never really had that knockout blow, to use a boxing term. I know Ryan Odom likes to use boxing terms. They could never just kind of keep them, out of it. And I don't know what I don't think there's anything specific with the team that's causing that. It's just, I think Virginia Tech got, pretty hot in the second half. And for whatever reason, Ben Hammond is the toughest player for Virginia to defend when they're playing Virginia Tech, just because of how quick he is. But, so I'll be interested to see, because at other times this year, they have done that. Their possible next opponent could be NC State, who they have delivered multiple knockout blows to over the span of the first two times they played them, winning both games by 44 points combined. We go back to Texas, go back to, some other game. They've done that. They've had the knockout blows, but there are a lot of times where, teams kind of come back, and I think it's just ill-timed shooting slumps in the second half. And, maybe just a little bit of like, all right, we're up, you just got to get it over the line, especially in March.
And now it feels that if they can just kind of get it over the line, there's a good shot that they could potentially be in the ACC championship game with an opportunity to win. Because Duke, sure, they still have Baby Boozer, but they've had a couple of key injuries, it seems, sprout up over the last week or so. Do you think the injuries that Duke has sustained has made the ACC tournament a little bit more wide open than what we may have thought a week ago?
Yeah, look, I think it's pretty disappointing that, UNC doesn't have Caleb Wilson, and then for Duke, they don't have Caleb Foster or Pat Ngongba, or even Louisville last night. They're not going to have Michael Brown for the ACC tournament. So you want to see the big players in it. Like, there's no doubt about it, but it does definitely open a window for Virginia to be like, hey, all the teams on their side of the bracket, they've beaten already this season. So they have a track record of success against those teams. I think a matchup against Miami is going to be interesting because that's a really physical team. And that's a kind of team that I could see make a run in the ACC tournament traditionally. But I think, once you get to the ACC title game, if you get to the ACC title game, maybe Duke isn't as formidable as they were a week or so ago, because not only Ngongba and Foster are probably at best their third, fourth, fifth best players. So it's not as much about losing those guys. It's more about the depth for Duke. They've only, they played about 9 guys consistently this year, and that kind of leaves them with about 7 guys left, and maybe 1 or 2 of those guys in the rotation I have questions about left. So it makes them a little bit thinner in an ACC tournament where you got to win 3 games in 3 days. So it's tough when you don't have depth. And if there's one thing Virginia has, it's depth.
And now with this week being a little bit more wide open than maybe otherwise thought of, for this week, how much do you think UVA can improve their seed line heading into the NCAA tournament? Because I think most bracketologies have them around the 4 seed right now.
Yeah, I think they're pretty much locked into a 4 unless, they win the ACC championship. Then they might be able to bump up to a 3, but it's pretty tight up there in those top 4 seeds right now. Like, it kind of seems like a bunch of teams are locked in unless barring anything crazy. I just don't see a lot of movement there. Some of those 3 seeds are really strong. So, but if they can win an ACC championship, I don't see how you keep them off the 3 seed line, especially if they beat Duke in the ACC championship game, given how good they've been, even though they have injuries. I think it still would be one of the better wins in the country.
And you said UVA team with a lot of depth. Is there a guy that you're looking at that should have or needs to have kind of a big time performance in X factor down in Charlotte for them to potentially win the ACC championship?
Yeah, a lot of people, ask that question, and my mind keeps going back to Malik Thomas, who's in the starting lineup. He's their second leading scorer, and so it's like, oh, that seems a little too on the nose. But it's just been up and down consistency wise this year for him. But what do we know about March basketball, ACC tournament or NCAA tournament? It's a guards game. Like, you can have the best, most imposing big men in the country, but if your guards don't bring it in the NCAA tournament, you're not going far. And so if Malik Thomas can play some of the best basketball that we've seen him do this year, I think back to like early January when he had a couple 20-point games, or I think even against Virginia Tech, he had a really strong game against the Hokies to end the season. If you get that type of Malik Thomas, it opens up new avenues for this Virginia team. And I think he's just the type of guard that, maybe he catches fire in March and that kind of lets them go on a run.
Looking forward to it. It should be a good time. Safe travels down to Charlotte. Preston, have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Hopefully for your sake, you're there for a couple of days watching UVA win some games.
I hope so. It's an early wake-up call tomorrow to get there for a noon tip-off, but that's my own personal battle.
Preston, have a safe travel down. Have a great rest of your Wednesday as well.
Thanks, Jack.
Of course, there goes Preston Willett, writer for The Sabre, host of Who's On podcast, always giving you the best information on UVA athletics. Appreciate him taking some time out of his day to chat ACC tournament as UVA gets set tomorrow, where they may face off against NC State if the Wolfpack win. All right, we're going to get our last break in here. Step aside. Breaking news coming out of the NFL. We'll break that down. Coming up next.
This is advertising material. Medical mistakes can devastate families. When doctors fail to provide the care you deserve, Alexander Schnarr trial attorneys stand ready to fight for justice. They recovered over $2 billion for their clients injured by negligence, surgical errors, and misdiagnoses. They take on powerful hospitals and their insurance companies, so you don't have to, but time is limited. Call now for a free consultation. No fees unless they win your case. Alexander Schnarr trial attorneys, 877-222-6666 or alexwins.law. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Every case is different. Phil George's licensed attorney in Virginia is responsible for legal work. Office is located at 500 East Main Street, Suite 1600-113, Norfolk, Virginia, 23510.
Is your home's AC ready for spring? Call Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling for tune-ups or to install a new cooling system. For a limited time, purchase a new qualifying Lennox system for up to $1,800 in rebates, or qualified buyers make no payments, incur no interest for 60 months when financing a new Lennox system. Contact Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling at 804-746-5853 or HermanAllenPlumbing.com today. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Hi, this is Sarah Wall with the Mike Chenault Group at Hometown Realty. Are you tired of climbing stairs and tackling home maintenance? Say hello to hassle-free living in Staggs Trail, RCI Builder's premier 55-plus community in the heart of Hanover. Experience the maintenance-free lifestyle of single-level living and luxury amenities so you can focus on what matters most. For more information, you can call me at 804-690-4473, 804-690-4473, or find me at hookupwithhometown.com.
Amy Cox did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. And with that money, she decided to treat herself to an anti-aging red light mask. Will she look like a horror movie villain every night? Yes. Will her boyfriend Kevin be scarred for life? That's certainly a risk. But it's Amy's savings, and if she's willing to risk her relationship for smooth, wrinkle-free skin, well, bye-bye, Kevin. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from,
we can be twinsies,
to,
how was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
WorkZone is the one-stop shop for the hardworking man and woman. When it comes to the biggest selection, WorkZone has it. Over 15 brands of boots and all toe types. Even boots for the ladies. WorkZone has jackets in stock for all seasons, from cold weather to lightweight. See why WorkZone will be your first and only stop for the best brands and comfort and workwear. And a gift card from WorkZone is always the perfect gift. Visit WorkZone on Temple Avenue, next to the Ford dealership, WorkZoneVA.com, and check them out on Instagram and Facebook.
Yo, Harvey, Zoe, group selfie.
Ooh, nice new iPhone 17, Drewski.
Let's do a triangle formation. I'm in front.
With the center stage front camera, everyone fits in the shot.
You got a T-Mobile.
But switching takes forever.
Not anymore. Now you can switch to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes.
Focus, people. Nail your pose.
And you get a new iPhone 17 on them.
No way.
Yes way.
No way.
Yes way, guys. Switch to T-Mobile and get iPhone 17 on us. And right now, we'll pay off your old phone up to $800.
I'm grabbing my phone and switching to T-Mobile right now.
Get back, Harvey. We're taking a... Let's go again, y'all.
With 24 monthly bill credits, finance agreement, 256 gigabytes, $830, eligible trade-in, example iPhone 13, and new qualifying line, $60 plus per month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees. For well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credit ended, balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. $800 via virtual prepaid card. Card typically takes 15 days after rebate submission, no cash access, and card expires in 6 months. Check out in 15 minutes per line. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Lake Lewis is part of Raisin Hill coverage. And every Tuesday, he joins Fitz the Bill for insider reports, film breakdowns, and Commanders news. Only on your home for the NFL all season long. 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill here on this Wednesday morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick as we wrap things up on this midweek edition of Fitz the Bill. And there's a lot to wrap up here in the last 30 minutes or so as we've been talking with everyone, with Rob from Birdie Golf, Adam from Stonehouse Golf Club, with Preston Willett from the Sabre, host of Who's On. Appreciate all of them for taking some time to chat with us. Some news has been breaking. One is that Kayvon Chason has signed with the Washington Commanders, joining the free agent class that already featured an edge rusher from the Los Angeles Chargers in Owe. So the Commanders get a nice little 1-2 punch in the free agency class at the edge spot. But the real news, and we'll talk about the Chason signing probably more at length tomorrow, but the real news, folks, is that Trey Hendrickson has signed with, guess who? The Baltimore Ravens. That's interesting. Something we were talking about to start the show after the called off Max Crosby trade, because the Ravens got really cold feet. That's what Diana Rossini is tweeting out. Is essentially the Ravens just got cold feet on it all and pulled out in the 11th hour. They pulled out, and now they're going and signing Trey Hendrickson to a 4-year, $112 million deal, can be worth up to $120 million with incentives. The deal is actually $60 million fully guaranteed with a $20 million signing bonus. So the Ravens back out of the Crosby deal. They keep both of their first-round picks, this year's and next, and then they go out and they sign Trey Hendrickson for a pretty team-friendly cost that will reward him with incentives for hitting sack totals. Interesting stuff with Baltimore. Really interesting stuff. Might have to tap on a couple of our Ravens insiders to get more information on all of this tomorrow, as the Ravens seem to have done some shady stuff. Backing out of the Max Crosby deal, now signing Trey Hendrickson. Great signing. You needed an edge rusher. You went out and you got him. You got him twice, though. And it makes sense that you went after Trey Hendrickson rather than Max Crosby. You didn't have to give up anything for Trey Hendrickson. But it puts that Max Crosby deal in a weirder light. All right, that'll do it for Fitz the Bill. We'll talk about this move and the Kayvon Chason move for the Commanders even more tomorrow on Fitz the Bill. Lake Lewis Jr. of the Lake Lewis Jr. Show will be joining us live in studio tomorrow, as well as will Jasmine Wimbish from CBS Sports to talk all things NBA. Tomorrow's loaded. You don't want to miss it.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round.
W291CL